For 50 years, Nash Roberts was the face and voice of television weathercasting in the New Orleans area. When he spoke, people listened.
Well, in 2001, Nash Roberts retired to take care of his ailing wife. He may have been out of sight for the last 7 years, but never far from people's minds. Tonight, Angela Hill sits down with Nash, who at 90 years old reflects on a life well lived.
It's my regular job.
He sits in the house he has lived in over 50 years. A medical mystery, he says, causes his legs to fail him unpredictably. But his mind has not changed one bit from his days with Marks-a-Lot in hand telling us the weather.
So look for the winds to increase.
For a half-century, he told us of hurricanes, tornadoes, rainstorms, and heat waves, but left it all behind to take care of his wife, Lydia, when a malformation in her brain changed her life.
She just gradually got to the point where her brain didn't do what it was supposed to.
For the next 6 years, he never left her side, till one morning about a year ago.
I took some time out from the bedroom and came in here and was reading the paper, and my son Ken was in there with her, and he came and looked to me. He came in and he said, "Dad, Mom just passed." Yeah, my whole world crumbled then, I'll tell you. And I've never really recovered. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever recover.
He met Lydia through his girlfriend at the time, a woman who was more friend than date. They often took walks through their Broadmoor neighborhood, but one day his girlfriend took him a different route.
She said, "I just wanted to change." And we accidentally bumped into a girl standing in front of her house. This is Lydia. And they put on a little show like, "Oh, what are you doing?"
It was a setup.
Well, I was set up.
It was a setup that lasted 66 years.
The finest moment of my whole life.
Together they raised 2 sons who gave them 4 grandchildren, who gave them 6 great-grandchildren. It was because of Lydia's frail condition when Hurricane Katrina was building in the Gulf that Nash did something he had never done.
For the first time in history, I evacuated.
They lived in an Episcopal retirement home in Baton Rouge for 2 months, watching as many did.
I was trying to analyze what was happening to what neighborhoods.
Horrified as everyone was. But as a scientist, Nash looks at weather disasters from Katrina to the more recent cyclone in Myanmar and earthquake in China, and sees these events not caused by years of man disrespecting the earth, as some fear, but more as a natural process.
I would say probably like it happened to me, a normal aging. Things begin to fall apart. And the older your planet gets, I guess the more changes you're going to run into.
The thoughts of a man who has lived in what he calls the most productive century in history.
I was here for the beginning of aviation.
And the space age, the computer age, and of course, the birth of television, something he never dreamed he'd be part of.
I told him I wasn't cut out to do that sort of thing. No dramatic training and no this, no that.
It didn't matter. For 50 years, he did it his way. As the scientist he was, with his Marks-a-Lot and map, feeling very strongly about keeping his professional independence, choosing to never be an employee of the television station, but rather a private contractor whose weather decisions would be his own.
It cost me a lot of money, but I never was in a profit sharing, never in a retirement plan. But I don't regret it. A lot of times the things I said weren't popular with other meteorologists. So I always wanted to be happy and liked by everybody, but you can't do that if you're dealing with people's lives.
It is perhaps his integrity that came through the screen those 50 years, his believability. Nash was a child of the Depression. He saw his father lose his very good-paying job to work any job to feed his 5 sons. It was a defining time in a young boy's life.
Made me try to take care of myself financially. The family always laughed at me. But as a little boy, I had something going all the time to make a few nickels.
He grew into a man who had many things going. He became a pilot, a meteorologist, a businessman, an investor, a teacher, a farmer, a beekeeper, a Christmas tree grower. He lived by a phrase he learned as a child: always have an anchor to the wind.
So that if the wind blows, it won't blow you onto the rocks. And I'll always remember that. I always had a little anchor somewhere.
A life of hard work and interesting experiences. What has been some of the best times of your life?
The best thing to happen to me in my whole lifetime was a no-brainer. That's the night that girl introduced me to Lydia. And that's the most pleasing and momentous thing that happened to me.
This is Angela Hill for Eyewitness News Night Watch.
Well, you can see more excerpts from this interview with Angela and Nash on our website at wwl-tv.com. Also, Carl has spoken with Nash about hurricanes and weather forecasting in an interview for our upcoming Eye on Hurricane special that will premiere on Monday, June 2nd at 7 o'clock in the evening right here on Channel 4.